Hi, I was asked about Turnigy radios. So this is the Turnigy 9X and this is the Turnigy 9XR Pro. And this one I got first, and it's been a great radio. I use it to run my Tamiya compatible IMEX Tiger, which runs on an IBU2. I've got this loaded with the Tank ER9X firmware, which is pretty cool stuff. Pretty easy to do too. I mean, once I got it figured out, it was pretty easy. It's a great radio, gives great control in standard 6-channel. I put it together with another board from RC Tanks Australia. That's Kevin Grantham, and that's the Viper. That gives me volume control for my transmitter. I've got like a half a dozen Vipers for almost all my tanks, except the one that runs on the 9XR. That's already got volume control on it. Both of the radios, the 9X and the 9XR, run on a 3-cell LiPo. These are pretty cheap too. They're like 10-12 bucks a piece, and for me they're cool because they also run my my whole FPV goggle setup. Fits right in the pocket right there and gives power. The 9XR has the FreeSky module, so I can get the FreeSky receivers, and that gives me model matching. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take that FreeSky receiver and I'm going to connect it to this, which is an ASP board, which I'll get back to in just a second. And I'm going to put that in a second tank, and then I'll be able to turn them both on, drive the first tank, stop it, shut the engine off, start the second, switch over, start the second tank, drive that around, and go back and forth as I please. Can't do that with the 9X. If I've got two tanks that have got receivers from the 9X in them and they're both turned on and I hit engine startup, no matter which tank I'm set for, one or two, they'll both start and they'll both run. But with model matching, I'll be able to, like I say, do it one at a time, and that's going to be pretty cool. I might put one more tank on this radio, and then I'm hoping to put one of these days a FAMO on it as well. I like them half tracks. Now, so to get back to the ASP, this is the ASP board, and it's actually two boards in one. It's the ASP is the bottom board, and then there's a Juno board on top of that for sound. You can plug 3 speakers into the Juno board. It's got 2 micro SD cards. The ASP has got pretty much every function you could possibly wish for. It'll do IR, it'll do high intensity flash, it'll do, it's got separate plugs for turret rotation and gun elevation. It supports the smoker. It supports 2 machine guns that you have separate switches for on the 9XR Pro, and it'll do pretty much everything I've ever wanted a tank board to do. And yes, Kevin does offer a package, and he set up this 9XR Pro. He self-centered both sticks. He installed extra 3-position switches. He installed the FreeSky module. He set it up and bound the receiver and had it all ready to go with the ASP. And all I had to do was put it in the tank. The ASP is not plug and play. You do have to rewire some stuff, but I knew that and I was okay with that. And it was as close to plug and play as he could make it for me. Kevin is he's really great. He's just a great guy, and he knows more about IR tech than anybody I've ever met. He's got some other really cool boards that I use all the time. One of them is called the Komodo, and what this does is get rid of track recoil in a stock Hanglong or Taizhen tank, running with the RX-18 or the Taizhen MFU, and they work great. I've seen them go from a fairly good board to a really great board because Kevin kept improving them, and they're state of the art now. They're good to go. Kevin says he can also hook up the ASP to run on a regular 6-channel radio like this Turnigy TGY i6, which is about like 50 bucks. And this is a pretty good radio. The only thing I didn't like about it is I am going to have to make my own self-centering lever, but I've got a video on how to do that, so I've already done it to the the HK6S radios. All them numbers and letters, man, just drive the hippie crazy. But Kevin's got some other good boards like the Gecko, which is a motor control, basically a little motor controller, and they use this for like RC and 1/35 scale tanks, stuff like that. It just basically controls 2 motors and makes them do whatever you tell them to. He also does a board called the Mako, which will give a stock Hanglong or Taizhen tank the capability of battling with Tamiya IR battle tanks. But like I said, RCTA has been pretty good to me, and he does do packages. I think I paid $240 more for the radio. It was $150 for the ASP plus $240 for the radio. Now that includes all the shipping and all that stuff from Australia, and no problems there. Everything I've ever ordered from Kevin has gotten here. Sometimes it'll take a little while, but that's because most of his smaller boards have got free shipping worldwide. Like every time I buy a Komodo or a Viper, it's always free shipping. I think that's great. So there's a little piece about Turnigy radios and the ASP and Kevin Granum and RC Tanks Australia. So I hope that was helpful. See you next time.